And then we started seeing with our boys that the mathematics and the science, all the STEM stuff was coming to them a lot faster because they were playing games. And it wasn't that they were like sitting down and studying and learning it. It was just that the mechanical operations of playing the games made them just cognitively get better. I remember being 5 years old and playing the card game Pit with my grandparents and my aunts and my family, and it was chaotic and crazy. That was a big part of my childhood, was going to my grandparents and playing games, whether it was like dominoes or whether it was checkers or anything like that. And I had a grandfather who, he never let you win. He always made you work for it. I didn't beat him at checkers until I was 16 years old. So it was a long time. And then when I got older, about 16 years old, a friend of mine introduced me to the game that a lot of people know is Hero Quest. And I was like, whoa, there's so much more, right? There's more than just these cards and these bells and these whistles and everything. There's mystery and there's stuff I don't see yet, and there's like all this stuff to discover, and I loved it and I went nuts for it. And we would literally, I think almost for maybe 3 months straight, every day my friends and I played Hero Quest. My family is actually a blended family. So my wife has a daughter from a previous marriage who I adopted, and then we have 2 boys on our own. And there's a big age gap. My daughter is 25 right now, and my oldest son is 14. So we used to call it our permanent babysitter program, but now she's off on her own. We don't have that advantage anymore. But we learned at a really quick rate with my daughter that playing games with her got her more socially engaged. It got her more willing to start conversations with people. And she loved talking about the things we played. And we were like, okay, this is really cool. There's an educational piece to this. And then we started seeing with our boys that the mathematics and the science, all the STEM stuff was coming to them a lot faster because they were playing games. And it wasn't that they were like sitting down and studying and learning it. It was just that the mechanical operations of playing the games made them just cognitively get better. And I was like, we need to do this. This is like every week. We are doing at least one night of family night with the kids, no matter what it is. And it was phenomenal. I remember my oldest son now, 14, Zach, he was 7 years old, and we had a giant wall of games. And he said, I want to play more games. I want to play different games. And I was like, great. I was like, I'll make you a deal. We'll play anything on the wall, but you have to read the rule book first. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'm good with that. And I'm like, all right. And 2 days later, he came to me and he goes, I want to play Lords of Waterdeep. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, maybe a little more advanced than some of the stuff we've been playing. And he's like, no, I got it. I know how to do it. And I didn't believe him at first, but I tested him, asked him some questions. I was like, what do you call the meeples? And don't say characters. And he got them right. I asked him, what do you call all the different quests that you're trying to do? And he called those right. Got all the answers to the questions I asked him. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And from there, he's never looked back. He's just gotten better and better and better. I spent a long time in corporate America before I came into the gaming industry. Technically, I got into the gaming industry in 1989. I was managing a comic book and sports card store in New York. It was called Iron Vic's Comics, for anyone that remembers Poughkeepsie, New York. It was awesome. Had a blast doing that, but gaming wasn't really part of that environment at the time. It was really just comic books, sports cards, dealing with collectibles and things like that. Then I moved. I live in Texas. I got a corporate job. I kind of retired at a very early age, and I did very well. And then next thing, I was talking with some friends, and they were like, man, you should look into taking your passion and doing something with it. And ended up in a conversation with a circle of friends, and one of them was an owner of a board game company, and we really liked what we talked about from a business perspective. And he said, I would love to have you as part of the team, and I think you could bring some really good ideas. And I was like, I don't even know if this is really like a real thing. Like, can I really do this? I don't know if is this going to pay me, or am I going to have to volunteer the rest of my life, or what's going to happen? And it worked out great. I started off in the industry at VP of Arcane Wonders. We did some tremendous stuff there. Became president of Passport Game Studios and did publishing with them. And now I've completely shifted, and I am the game category manager for GTS Distribution, where I get to work with literally hundreds of publishers and hundreds of games. So it's been a super fun journey. Falling in love with a game is hard. There's so many games on the market right now. There's so many different options, so many different things that you can choose from. The number one key thing that I hear from the people that I work with, which are primarily retailers, and as a distributor, we're selling to retailers and getting feedback from them, it's being unique. It's being different, and whether it's physical or whether it's mechanical, something that makes the game stand out from the pack. One of my favorite games is actually a company called Chip Theory Games makes Too Many Bones. And it's not available in distribution or retail yet, but they have done extremely well on Kickstarter and selling direct. It's a game that took role-playing games, which are obviously widely popular and still played to this day, very big, and it said, we're going to throw away all the charts. We're not going to do any of this lookup tables. You're not going to have any Excels or pivot tables. We're just going to put it on dice. It took it and rolled the dice, and you're like, yes! Like the minute you roll the dice. That was super fun and super unique. So sometimes it only just takes that one little thing to make something unique, and it may be theme, maybe doing something in a whole new light, something that's never been done before. It may very well be mechanical. There's a lot of very creative people in the industry who are coming up with things where you're like, wow, I never in a million years would have thought to plug all these things together this way and do that. But that's the key thing, both for me, from what I do in my job, for me, what I do on my own table and play at my own time, and also for what I think retailers look for and consumers look for. Because it's wonderful if you have 700 games in your collection, but if 680 of them are all similar, you're really only playing like 20 games. So having things that are unique and special and stand out, that's the real big thing for me. I'm a big believer that the reason gaming has had a renaissance and the reason that so many people are getting into it is we're so used to doing this and keeping our heads down that the interaction and just the connection with another human being, which I personally believe is like good for the soul, it becomes part of the gaming. And I'm a big believer that everyone is equal at the table. Board gaming allows you to sit down with people from different cultures, from different backgrounds, different belief systems. You're either competing against each other to try and beat each other at something, or you're working in a cooperative game like a Pandemic or something like that. But it gives you something to do together. Last night, I sat down at a table with 3 strangers and played a game, and we all exchanged information afterwards. I was like, this was great, this was so much fun. We don't live anywhere near each other. We're probably never physically going to see each other again until Gen Con next year, but we immediately created a friendship just from playing one game, and it was just so much fun. And look, I'm a big Yankees fan. The guy next to me could have been a huge Red Sox fan. It doesn't bother me. Like, we're just playing a game and having fun. So it's definitely opened up my doors to be able to find more friends and be with more people, and it's made it a lot more fun.